So before I burnt myself, I was making browning. And if you're coming here from my Caribbean fruitcake video, then yeah, this is how you make browning. If you haven't seen that video yet, go ahead. I'm going to leave a link to it in the bottom. You can click over to that. Browning is basically caramelized or burnt brown sugar, and in the Caribbean, it's used as a coloring for our Caribbean fruitcake or our holiday fruitcake. It is also used to help color our meat dishes that we cook on the stove. So when we cook our brown stewed chicken or any type of meat, stewed chicken, stewed pork, stewed beef, this is basically where the coloring comes from. So to begin, you want to get a heavy bottom pot, something that you don't mind getting dirty and stained. Before I started talking, I'm sure that you noticed some black spots at the bottom of the pot. That's because this is my pot that I use on a regular basis to make my browning for my house. So what I did, I had the pot heating up. The stove is like moderately low, so it's on like between a 3 and a 4. I had it heated up, and once it got hot, preheated it for maybe about 5 minutes. I added about a tablespoon of regular cooking oil to the pot. You want to then either get a pastry brush or a paper towel and then like oil and grease the sides of the pot. Once the pot is greased, you want to add your brown sugar. I added a 2-pound bag of brown sugar, and now you just want to let it sit. Again, the pot is very low. Like I said, it's on a 3 to 4. This video was filmed in hyperlapse, so you're not gonna see it start to bubble after about 5 seconds or 2 minutes. It's going to take a while. You want to do this in a well ventilated area. Keep your window open. If you have a patio door or something, you want to open that to get some fresh air into the place. It may get smoky, and that's why we want to leave it on a low temperature. Once you start to see the sugar on the sides of the pot start to caramelize and become brown, such as it is here, you want to get a spoon, either a wooden spoon. I'm going to use this wooden spoon type thing. I'm also going to be using a metal knife. Just use whatever you can, whatever's convenient to you, but you want something with a long handle. You're going to break up any clumps that are in there and kind of stir up the sugar so that way it can all burn and caramelize like evenly. You know, you don't want the bottom to be burnt and start to get stuck while the top is still just regular brown sugar, right? So we're just gonna let this sit here until it just, starts to burn evenly all around. So once it starts to get like this, you kind of want to get your knife. I like to spray my knife with some cooking oil and stir it around again so that way it'll all burn at a consistent level. So as the brown sugar is burning, it's going to start to bubble and basically come to a boil. Once it does that, I like to stir it again with the knife a few times, and then once it's all like in a rolling boil as it is and it's all movable, we want to lower the heat even more. And I had a pot of boiling water on the side, so that was my 1 cup measurement. So I'm measuring out 1 cup of hot boiling water, we will be adding this water into our burnt brown sugar. At this point in time, you really want to get any kids, any pets out of the way. You don't need any distractions. And we're going to add it first, tablespoon at a time. I like to keep my brown sugar in motion and stir it, and then just add the tablespoon in the middle of the little cyclone or circle that you make while you're stirring it. Do this carefully and slowly because the brown sugar will jump up and burn you. So yeah, it literally just hopped out the pot and right onto my foot. But you want to be very careful when doing this. Hold the spoon as low, as close to the sugar as possible. In between the additions of water, I am stirring all around the pot because I don't want any of the brown sugar to get a clump. When it clumps up, that's what's gonna like stain the pot a little bit easier. So once you've gotten a few tablespoons of the water into the brown sugar, maybe after about 5 or 6 tablespoons, you can start adding it slowly from your whole cup measurement, and then the goal is just to eventually add the whole cup of water into the pot. So again, you want to make sure that you have a pot that has very high sides, and if you have a spoon with an even longer handle, that would be great because then you're able to keep a little bit of distance away from the pot, but you'll still be able to, stir it up and make sure that it's all combined and all liquidy all over. So we're basically done. Now we just want to, set it to the side and let it cool. This is a good consistency. Once it cools down, it will harden up and become maybe like a molasses or a honey consistency. But I like mine to be a little bit thinner. So as you saw, I added a few more drops of water from my teapot. Yeah, but basically I'm just stirring it to make sure that there are no clumps at the bottom of the pot. And once I'm done with this, I'm just going to sit it on a back burner because I have an electric burner. The coils stay hot for a while even though it's off, but I'm going to put it to the back and allow it to sit and cool down. It will take a few hours to cool, but basically this is what it looks like. It's a really pretty like black color. So once it has cooled, this is my 1 cup of water plus an addition of maybe a 1/4 cup more. And this is it. This is browning. So here's our browning all cooled, and it's like the consistency of about honey. So now we're going to pour it over into our container. Today I am simply using an old popcorn container. You just want to make sure that you have basically a vessel that can be closed and something that's large enough to contain all of the browning that you made. If you're making browning to use with the Caribbean fruitcake recipe, then you don't really have to worry about it because you'll most likely use all of this in the recipe. If you're making it for future recipes like stew chicken or stew beef, then you definitely want to make sure that it's in a container that has a cover that you can close it. It can keep in your cupboard for about 6 months to a year. And this is pretty much it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that you did not get hurt while making the video. Please, if you intend on making this, watch it a few times and get a solid idea of what you're going to do, so that way you know how to proceed, because I don't want anyone to get injured or burned, hot sugar can be very, very painful if it gets onto you. Okay, guys? So please have fun. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you like the recipe. If you're trying the fruitcake, let me know how you like that too. Please don't forget to come back. See you soon.